everyone, and welcome to Shelby This Week. Top news stories: grocery store stops a tower plan, Visteon for sale, and swearing in officers. All this, plus much more, but first. A major grocery store in the area hit the dial tone for a cell phone tower. A plan for a communications tower to be built near the intersection of 25 Mile and DeQuinder roads, right behind Kroger, has been pulled by Kroger Food Store. Supervisor Rick Stathakis explains.
Of course, there were a big group of people that said, hey, you know what, it's really not the right thing to do because it's a safety hazard. And also, it just didn't look right in their neighborhood. And I could understand that. The infrastructure was just not what they wanted in their neighborhood. So I understood that part of the argument. There was another group of people who said, look, we do need cell tower coverage because, after all, you know, we do have cell phones, and from time to time we may have to call 911 and what have you. So I understood that part of the argument as well. And I know the Board of Trustees as a whole feels that we do need better cell phone coverage in that area. So how do we, how do we solve this problem? Well, we simply asked Mr. Bailey, who was representing, I think, Crown Castle and T-Mobile, to simply come back with an alternative because he only had one idea, which was to put the cell tower by Kroger. So Kroger called, and in fact, it was just yesterday they called and said, we withdrew the plan. And the reason they withdrew the plan, they said, is because, number one, they didn't think it was right for the neighborhood. But number two, it was based on an outdated plan, which they said didn't have any basis. So that was good to hear. And I got to be honest with you, I wasn't really shocked that Kroger took that stance because they've been good partners. And for them to listen to what the neighbors and their customers have to say only made good sense.
The Board of Trustees will be waiting for some kind of alternative plan for cell service in that area. A different location, different technology. We'll see the outcome. We have an update on the old Visteon property. The vacant land on 23 Mile has received a much-needed cleaning over the past month. The former Ford plant has had a long affair after Visteon closed. Now, the property is close to being bought, and this time, hopes of an effortless deal are much needed. Indiana Metals bought the land back in 2011, leveled the entire plant, selling off all the metal. After payments weren't received, countless hearings ensued. Indiana Metals backed out, leaving a mess behind. A mess that included toxins, and cleanup costs were going to be steep. Ford footed the bill for cleanup. Crews have been working on tidying up the place to be sold. We'll keep you posted on who's eyeing to buy the large property. Shelby Township Police Captain Steve Stanberry promoted 2 officers to sergeant recently. The swearing-in ceremony happened at the boardroom this past week. 2 new sergeants, Greg Newbacher and Matt Barr, were sworn in. In attendance were public officials and families of the 2 officers. Congratulations to the new sergeants. Cases of Ebola have come up the past few weeks. None in Michigan, but our Katie Shimatero reports on exactly how Ebola can be contracted and how to avoid getting it.
It's a deadly virus that has made its way to the United States and has been dominating the headlines ever since. And with a fatality rate of nearly 50%, healthcare employees need to be prepared for if and when Ebola hits Michigan. The Ebola virus is a deadly disease that was first discovered in Central Africa in 1978. The infectious and highly fatal virus is marked by an intense fever and severe internal bleeding. The virus has killed nearly 5,000 people since its original outbreak, but has only been diagnosed in 4 people in the United States, who have all either visited West Africa or had close contact with an Ebola patient.
Fortunately, we don't have the virus circulating in the community, and therefore the awareness that the virus is not in the community is important. If a patient is suspected of having Ebola, it's probably going to be because there has been a travel history of that person having traveled to West African countries.
Which has many U.S. citizens wondering why a travel ban has not been placed on people flying back to the United States from West Africa. Since the outbreak has spread to the U.S., there has been heightened fear and social disorder surrounding the virus. But Michigan hospitals, including Henry Ford Macomb Hospital, says they are fully prepared.
Henry Ford Health System has invested a lot of resources in making sure that we continue to protect our own employees and the community at large if we do happen to have a patient who may have contracted Ebola. And in that regards, we have the emergency room centers and the urgent care centers and any other point of contact with the health system. The awareness of our healthcare providers is very heightened. They are quite familiar with what to look for, what to ask for, and more importantly, what to do from there on.
So what do they do when and if Ebola is found in Michigan?
We have a strategic plan based on meetings with the team members for a strategic team to isolate the patient as soon as we can identify the person and then have them transferred to a designated area at Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit.
Fortunately, catching Ebola in the U.S. is less likely than people believe. And with no current cases in Michigan, it's not certain the virus will necessarily ever affect our state.
The virus can only be contracted if you've come into contact with a person who has Ebola. Since at a national level and the state level and at the health facility level, we have measures in place that such a person would be very quickly identified and isolated from exposure to other family and community members. So therefore, the chances of somebody who lives in this country, in the state, in our community, to come into contact with somebody with Ebola is extremely, extremely unlikely.
Reporting for Shelby This Week, I'm Katie Shimatero.
Coming up, a mayor we all know and love passes away, and a community comes together to help a young girl. Stay tuned.
I'm home, and I love it. I'm home, where I belong.
It's always nice to come home, but many Americans are at risk of foreclosure and losing their homes. Making home affordable from the U.S. government has already helped over 1 million struggling homeowners like these. The sooner you act, the better chance we can help you.
I'm home, where I belong.
Sad news to report. Sterling Heights Mayor Richard Neddy has passed away at the age of 76. Mayor Neddy was battling pancreatic cancer. He took a leave of absence from work back in August to focus on his health. Neddy was serving his 11th term as mayor and worked in city government for more than 30 years. Prior to being mayor, he served on city council and worked for Ford for 45 years. Neddy was charming with his witty personality, a smile on his face, and humor in his voice. He always took care of his city, worked hard for the people with a fedora on his head. The flags were at half-staff at all local government offices for Neddy. He will be missed. Yet another sad passing to report. Ed Wujek passed away October 24th at the age of 74. Mr. Wujek was co-founder of Wujek, Calcaterra & Sons Funeral Homes. He was a dedicated funeral director and kind man. Wujek owned and operated Shelby Township and Sterling Heights Wujek Calcaterra Funeral Homes. He was a beloved husband to his wife Carolyn for 50 years. A young girl battling a life-threatening issue had a great surprise recently. Our cameras were rolling to see her big smile. Stacey Sansatera reports on this story that will pull on your heartstrings.
Oh my God! Wow. This is unbelievable.
I don't think I've seen her smile this much in a long time. I can't remember the last time she smiled like this. It's just amazing to see.
Smiles have been minimal for 15-year-old Natalie as she has been undergoing chemotherapy for a brain tumor. And in the midst of such a difficult time, an innovative program stepped in to help Natalie rest and recover.
The Sweet Dreams Project does bedrooms for children with serious medical conditions, and we often partner with area designers.
We got involved with the Sweet Dreams organization through Maggot Automotive. They raised money to donate to Sweet Dreams, and we were brought on as the designers for the room.
I know Natalie, just ever since this whole thing started, she's been really down, and the room should be kind of a kid's refuge, kind of especially to her age. Kind of a refuge from the world, places you can go to and just kind of get away from everything. I mean, not to hide from everything necessarily, but a place you can go and be safe and happy. And the room she had was just, kind of a normal room, just, messy and nothing really special. So it really didn't do a whole lot.
Enter Shelby Township's Trish and Shannon from Finishing Touches Interiors by Design.
We met with Natalie and we asked what she wanted to have her room, what she wanted in her room. And she told us she wanted the color purple, and she also wanted twinkling lights in the ceiling. And that's kind of what we had to go with. So that's where we started. And actually we found the wallpaper first, and we fell in love with the wallpaper. And that's kind of how we built the room off of the wallpaper.
You know, one of the things that she said was she spends a lot of time in her room. Obviously, she's going through chemo. So this is her sanctuary. And for her to be able to come and relax, that was our approach. We wanted her to have comfortable furniture, good bedding, and just a really nice place where she can just come and just be by herself when she's not feeling well.
And so the demo began as these ladies worked their magic and emotions ran high as this makeover came straight from the heart.
It's been a very humbling and worthwhile experience for Trish and I both. We invited family members to help, and Trish's daughter was here helping, and it's just been very worthwhile.
I hope that Natalie absolutely loves this room. I mean, we really tried to give her everything that she wanted with the twinkling lights, the vanity. She complained about not having a place for her wigs. So we really thought we'd showcase those and get nice mannequin heads to put on for her to be proud of it. She's very spunky. I love the fact that she's got 6 different wigs and she changes them up all the time. I think that's a really cool thing for her to do. And I hope that when she walks in the room, she absolutely loves it, and she feels like this is her space, this is her sanctuary.
I hope she loves it. I'm sure she will. So I hope she's surprised and didn't sneak in here over the weekend. We did, try to keep her out of the room, but we hope she's really surprised and enjoys it.
And the makeover is incredible. I mean, it's just a room all of us want to have in our own home. So I think she's really going to love it.
Back to that smile as Natalie takes in everyone's hard work.
This isn't my room.
Yeah, wow.
This is brand new. I never in a million years would think my room would look like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. This is something we could not possibly have done for her ourselves. Yeah, we couldn't possibly have afforded anything like this. So it's just amazing. The Sweet Dreams project has just been unbelievable. I mean, just granting it. I mean, it's a dream. It is a dream. It's a dream come true.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, this
I can't
is amazing.
believe it.
It's like a 5-star hotel room in Paris is what it looks like.
I love the little seat thing over there. That's really cool. I love everything. It's the chandelier. I never had a chandelier. It's really cute.
And as Natalie takes in her very own unique environment, there are many people to thank.
Thank you so much. Out of all the people in the world, thank you for choosing me. I feel so blessed right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, you've like I said, you've
They
put a
spent
smile
their
on her face.
Their time.
Oh, I know.
Sundays and Saturday.
Yeah, and then all the coordination and the planning and trying to integrate things that she wanted, as well as come up with some ideas that she probably didn't even know she wanted. This is just the look on her face is priceless.
It's a lot of hard work that went into getting everything organized for Natalie. But I'll tell you what, it was worth every single hour in this room. And all the guys that worked on the room, all of our carpenters, our electricians, wallpaper installer, painters, they all said the same thing. It was definitely a lot of time. However, it was definitely worth it to do this for Natalie.
Each and every time, I think it touches me in a new way. But when you see what these kids go through, on a day-to-day, all the medication, all the doctor's visits, and everything they're dealing with and coping with, this, for me, it's so exciting to give them a place. We like to say a healing space. So I do believe this is going to be a healing space.
Transformation designed especially for Natalie by the talented ladies of Finishing Touches Interiors by Design. For Shelby This Week, I'm Stacy Sansatera.
Her smile says 1,000 words. Special thanks from the family to all those who contributed to this project: Jason Jelenow, Conti Corporation, Chris Cronin Painting and Staining, Detroit Spectrum Painters, Janace Wallpaper, and Lori's Draperies. After 25 years of service, Utica Department of Public Works clerk Margaret Paul is retiring. Her dedication to the city of Utica and its residents. Paula has seen a lot. The Clinton Township resident has seen many changes over the years, and is ready to spend more time with her family. The biggest change she's seen? Meter readers. She's hoping to go somewhere warm and get out of this crazy weather. At a recent event held at Stony Creek Park, businesses and representatives gathered for presentations aimed at helping communities utilize the gift of proximity to water. Arthur Schenk has more.
Under the title of a Water Trail and Paddling Summit, the Clinton River Watershed Council brought together dozens of municipal and business representatives from across southeastern Michigan to discuss how to develop, market, and manage access to local waterways. The event kicked off with a look at economic development.
We've been involved in different trail town planning efforts across the state, and we've done some work with the Watershed Group on their recent water trail plan. And so we're here today to really talk about how the communities along the Clinton River and within really the whole area can better leverage their trails for community economic development. And there's different ways to do that, really focusing on promotions and design and kind of this economic restructuring, which is working with local businesses to see how they can leverage the trail. And so we're here to just talk about some of those concepts.
Okay. Many of those concepts are already in use in Shelby Township and Utica, both of whom are beginning to recognize the potential of utilizing the river's popularity. With the help at the county level, there's a continuing push downstream on the Clinton River to other communities that could reap the same benefits. The key to making safe use of the Clinton River is keeping it clean and making sure there's easy access for people to use the river, something that Mother Nature doesn't always cooperate with.
We definitely like to make sure that our waterways are open and safe and allowing people to be able to use the waterways as recreation, though we have many different areas around Macomb County where people can bike and they can use roadways and trails, but we're trying to refocus that on our waterways. We use kayak, canoe, making more not only areas open but also events. We have a canoe event every year in June that we have that's for professional canoeists and amateur kayakers. So we're really trying to embrace the sport and have more and more people come out.
And it's that love of nature that helps bring people out to the Clinton River, with its curvy tree-lined banks, where it's easy to forget that you are so close to the hustle and bustle of everyday civilization. Ironically, it's this peaceful setting and usually slow-flowing river that can sometimes deceive and surprise not only rookies, but experienced water enthusiasts. It's for this reason the Shelby Township Fire Department was brought in to speak about their recently created Swift Water Rescue Team and the department's working relationship with the Shelby Township Parks and Recreation Department to create a system of river markers.
Yeah, we actually had several incidents a few years ago once the river was opened up and actually paddleable all the way down without portaging. That there brought to light some shortfalls that we had within the department of being able to respond to emergencies on the river. We've done a lot of work to better ourselves to be able to respond to those kinds of things, including significant training and equipment purchases. So we're continually striving to better ourselves to be able to respond to any kind of emergency that does happen on the river.
So if someone does happen to be in trouble, that we have the right training and right equipment to respond, because just because you're a rescue agency, coming to the water gives you a whole different, rule book to play by. Because water's dangerous and it's ever changing, and a half-inch of rain can make a world of difference. Access is limited to a lot of parts of the river, and it's very manpower intensive. So we have been working with them to not only mark the river so people that are on the river know where they're at, but so we know how to get to them.
So with events like this bringing communities and public together, expect to see more use of our local waterways in the near future, as people across the Metro Detroit area begin to appreciate the waterways that originally attracted our ancestors to the area. And as the visitors come to the area, hopefully they bring their pocketbooks with them. From the banks of the Clinton River, I'm Arthur Schenk reporting.
Let's talk about a dispute that happens on nearly every block in every community. We're talking about raking leaves. So the question is, what's the proper leaf etiquette for handling all that fall foliage? Living in Michigan, there's a beautiful canopy of fall colors, but we've all been victim of bad leaf etiquette. We need to make this a community effort. If it falls on your lot, on your property, take care of it. Here's a couple ways to clean up leaves.
In Shelby Township, we have a lot of beautiful trees. We get to enjoy them spring, summer, and fall, but in the fall when they change colors, they are on the ground, and we know that's a lot of work. So, but for homeowners, including myself here in Shelby Township, a couple different options. You can blow them up into piles, rake them, which gives you some good exercise. You have the brown bins that is provided from the waste company, and they're disposed of in there. Also, you have the brown bags you can purchase at your local Ace or Eco Hardware. So there's a couple different options you can do to get rid of your leaves.
Neighbors may have a lot of trees, but the wind blows leaves in another neighbor's yard.
There are people that do like to mulch, and that is definitely an option that people can do. I would recommend, though, if you're mulching your leaves up and leaving them on the grass there, that make sure they're not too large, because you can have damage to your grass if you leave even some cut up leaves that aren't grounded too much, or if you have any areas that are larger leaves, you'll find out in the spring when the snow gets off that grass will be dead.
If you don't rake up your autumn leaves, they can flow into the catch basins and stormwater drain runoffs.
Yes, these leaves can get caught up in there, and then you'd have to get them cleaned out, or else it's going to fill up and plugged up, and you have more issues there. With nature, you have leaves, and they're going to blow, and sometimes they blow on your yard, sometimes they may blow off. But we know here in Shelby Township, the majority of our residents like to have their yards looking nice, so they're all good neighbors and clean up their leaves.
Remember, if you do mulch your leaves, it's free fertilizer. Also, if you're looking to make some extra money, stop by an elderly person's home and offer to pick up their leaves. Here's a good rule of thumb. If you don't like it on your lawn, don't let it happen to your neighbor's lawn. Students at West Utica School will be honoring veterans. The school will be holding their 26th annual Veterans Day ceremony on Monday, November 10th at 9:30 a.m. Different activities will be going on at the school located at 5415 West Utica Road. This is a time for students and staff to honor those who have served our country. The Eisenhower Equestrian team raced its way to the finish line in record history. The 4-member team was crowned district and regional champions, striding its way to compete for state title. Coach Amanda Cucci says 10 Michigan teams, including Ike's equestrian team, are judged on horsemanship, speed, and showmanship. Team members are Caitlin Messing, Lauren Roy, Brianna Seymour, and Haley Zinda. Congrats to the team and coaches. A local high school had music lift their mood recently. The Eisenhower High School Wind Ensemble was chosen to perform at the 2015 Michigan Music Conference. 42 high schoolers that make up the ensemble will perform a song titled Joy in All Things this January in Grand Rapids. Ike was one of 15 groups chosen across the state to perform at the opening concert. This is one of the highest honors a high school band can receive. One of our government officials toured a local cider mill recently, a successful homegrown business in the area. John Martin reports from the cider mill.
U.S. Representative Candace Miller visited Blake Cider Mill, located in Armada, Michigan, to tour the facility and learn more about their recently expanded operations and products.
Well, we're here today out at Blake's Cider Mill, which is a family agribusiness. It's been out here in Macomb County, I think, since 1946. And I'm pleased to be joined by Paul Blake, who's, I guess, second generation, right?
That's right, second generation.
Second generation. And he's giving us a tour of all the different things that are going on here. They farm hundreds and hundreds of acres. They've got 3 different sites here in Macomb County. I think anyone that's watching this has been to one of their facilities. And, you know, you really get a sense, I think, coming out to Blake's of, first of all, family farms, how they love the land, how they care for the land, environmental stewards that they are of the land, and then all the various products that are out here as well. Paul Blake might want to tell you just a little bit about what they're doing here in his new hard cider business.
Thanks, Candace. Yeah, we're pretty excited about it. We just had a 1-year anniversary for our hard cider company and winery, and it's far surpassed what we imagined it would do in the first year, both from a numbers game and also the support we've had from the local community in this county and other counties around. It's found a real niche here at our orchard. Families that have been coming out to us for years and years that have grown older, their kids may have gotten older, found another reason to come back and enjoy the hard cider. And we're making about 10 to 20 different varieties of hard cider new varieties coming out every month, and it's really exciting, and it's been a great opportunity for my son Andrew to get involved in our family business. And he's taken the lead on the hard cider company and done a great job, and it's also allowed us to hire more people in the county, in the township. It's allowed us to keep more full-time people on staff. And as Candace said, we farm about hundreds of acres, actually about 800 acres here in Macomb County. But apples being the main core of our business, and pretty excited to be part of the great state of Michigan growing apples.
In August, Blake's was awarded a grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture as part of the Rural Development's Value-Added Producer Grant Program. The grant, totaling $45,000, is for the expansion of goods and services provided by their local craft brewing company, Blake's Hard Cider Company. For more information on Blake's Cider Mill, including Blake's Hard Cider Company, go online at www.blakesfarm.com. For Shelby This Week, this has been John Martin reporting.
A good place to be on a fall day. Butterburgers and frozen custard are on many minds now that a Culver's restaurant opened their doors in Shelby Township. Culver's is a fast, casual dining burger spot, and the restaurant chain just opened their newest shop on 23 Mile in Hayes. We talked to co-founder of Culver's, Craig Culver.
What's important about coming to Shelby Township and any one of the communities that we put restaurants in, it's about coming there and making a difference in the community. Not just coming there to sell Butterburgers and frozen custard, but really to make a difference. Employing people and making a difference with those people and making a difference in the community. We do many fundraisers at every one of our Culvers throughout the year, and we try and make a difference that way. But just being part of the community is important to us.
Culver's has 524 restaurants in the U.S. Owner of this franchise spot in Shelby is Derek Sessi.
Looking forward to a lot of success and being part of the community and try and share our good times with the rest of the community.
So what's your favorite product here?
Butterburger Deluxe, and fresh frozen custard, and if you've never had it before, you got to get cheese curds.
Cheese curds. We look forward to trying those. More jobs in Shelby, more business in Shelby. We are lucky enough to have a senior citizen choir right here in Shelby Township. They recently sang about a day coming up, remembering Veterans Day. We close out this program with the sounds from the senior choir, directed by Claire. Thanks for watching.
He has sounded forth the trumpet that shall never more retreat. He is